Okay, today we're just going to practice what we've been learning, finding slope. First thing you need to remember, change in y's, so the y coordinates are these two. I happen to do this example, 5 minus 3. Since I used the 5 first, I must use the negative 4 first. Negative 4 minus 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. Negative 4 plus negative 2 would be negative 6. Simplifies into negative 1/3. So if we're going to use that on this one, it's going to be 4 minus negative 2 over 5 minus 3. Becomes plus positive, gives me 6 over 2, which simplifies into 3. So make sure that you do simplify your slope. Don't leave it over 1. And remember, don't leave two negatives in there. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is a graph finding slope. So there are words for graph you should remember, rise over run. So if we start down here at the bottom, how many we're going to have to rise? We just count. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's my rise. How am I going to run? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It was to the left, so it's negative 9. If that could simplify, I would simplify it, but it doesn't, so there's my slope. So make sure rise over run. Again, if you do want to start at this point and go down and then over, you can, but it would be the same thing. It would be rising negative 7 and running positive 9, which is the same thing. So in this one, if we want to find the slope, again, I usually start at the bottom point, so I'm going to start here. So how many I got to rise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I rise 6. How many do I run? 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, so it's negative. This one you would need to reduce to negative 3/2. So you do need to make sure you reduce fractions. Alright, in this one, write in slope-intercept form, and it's from a graph, so when you see it's from a graph, you should think easy. You don't have to really do any calculations. You're just going to pick the things out. So if we want to find the slope, we start here. How many we got to rise? 1, 2, 3. How many got to run? 1. So the slope is 3 over 1, which is 3. And then you just pick out the y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? Down 2, it looks like, so it would be y, or negative 2 would be your y-intercept. So again, when you see a graph, there's really no calculations that you have to do. You're just going to find the answers. All right, so we need to find 2 points where we can use rise over run here. So I think we can use this one. So we're going to rise 1 and run 1, 2, 3. So my slope is 1/3, so y equals 1/3 x. Then again, I just pick out my y-intercept, which is plus 1, and I would be done with that. So look at the graph, pick out the information that you need. Here it says to graph it, so we're going to pick the information from here. We know the y-intercept is 2, so that's where we would start, putting a point on 2. We know the slope is negative 2/3, so we're going to go down 2 and write 3, and then we're going to do that again, down 2 and write 3. If you wanted to, and think of it as 2 over negative 3, you could go up 2 and to the left 3, and that would also be on your line. So either way, and sometimes it matters if you want them to fit on your graph. So again, when it asks you to graph and you have it in this form already, it's pretty easy. If it's not in this form, you got some work to do. So we need to find 3 on the y-intercept. 1, 2, 3. The graph's pretty tiny here. Go down 1 over 2. Again, do it again. Down 1 over 2. And draw your line. Now this one's going to take some work. Passes through this and this. So we want to write it in slope-intercept form. We know the slope. We don't know the y-intercept, but we know coordinates x and y. So the y-coordinate is 4, so we put that in. The m is negative 3. The x is negative 5. We don't know b. Negative 3 times negative 5 would be positive 15, so you need to subtract 15 from each side and get b equals negative 11. Now some of you stop here. You need to actually write it in the equation. Write in slope-intercept form, so don't stop too soon. So here's one for us to try. So again, we know the m, we don't know the b. So I'm going to use y equals mx plus b. My y is 9, my m is 4, my x is 1, I don't know b. So that equals 9 equals 4 plus b, sorry. So I need to subtract 4 from each side and get 5 equals b. Don't stop there, write it in my equation form. Y equals 4 is my m, and 5, positive 5 would be my b. Write in slope-intercept form. This time I'm given 2 ordered pairs. So the first thing I have to do is find the slope, and then I do what I just did on the last problem. So this is kind of putting 2 of the things we've been doing. So 5 minus negative 1 would become plus positive, which would give you 6. 3 minus 1 would be 2, and I get 3. So now I'm going to use 3 as my slope I use this ordered pair, and get b equals negative 4, put it in, and you get your answer. So the first thing we need to do is find our slope, so change in y's, negative 5 minus 3. Again, you can put either one of them you want first, negative 3 minus 1. This gives me negative 8, remember because of change. And this gives me plus negative 4, which gives me a slope of 2. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the positive ordered pair. So y is 3, m is 2, x is 1. I don't know b. 3 equals, 2 times 1 is 2. I'm trying to get the b by itself, so I need to subtract 2 from each side and get 1 equal b. I have what I need. 2 is m, b is 1. And there we go. Write in standard form. So a refresher course of what standard form is. Ax plus by equals c. Remember, you can't have fractions, and a cannot be positive, or has to be positive, sorry. So I would probably like to get rid of my fraction in the first step, so I look at my common denominator, which is 3, and I'm going to multiply everything by 3 to get rid of that. So I get 3y minus 18. Over here's my 3's cancel, leaving me 2 times the quantity x minus 5. So now I'm going to distribute. I get 2x, 2 times negative 5 would be minus 10. Remember, I want my x on the left side, so I'm going to minus 2x from each side. And I really can't simplify over here, so I'm going to put it first, because I know the ax term must be first. Minus 18 equal negative 10. Need to get the 18 to the other side, so I'm going to add 18, giving me negative 2x plus 3y equal 8. I'll write that over here. Negative 2x plus 3y equal 8. So that does look like standard form. The only problem, I do have a negative here, and the a term cannot be negative, so I'm going to subtract negative 1 from each side. Gives me positive 2x. Positive 3 divided by negative 1 would be negative 3y. And 8 divided by negative 1 would be negative 8. And that would be standard form. And I think this is our last problem, asked to write in slope-intercept form. So again, that's y equals mx plus b, and it can have fractions, and most likely will in a lot of times. So I don't want to get rid of my fraction, so I do have to work a little bit with fractions. So I'm going to distribute. Negative 2/3 times x is negative 2/3 x. Negative 2/3 times negative 6 is going to be plus. So over here, let's refresh how to do multiply. It would be look like this. Put 6 over 1, do some canceling. And we end up with 4 over 1, which is just 4. So I'm going to transfer that 4 back over here. So we're really close to y equals. We got a minus 3 over here, so we just need to add 3 to both sides. And we get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 7. And that would be our answer.